Hey guys. Hey there, Jason. Yeah, it's Otome Game Tuesday, and we're playing a new game called Crimson Waves on the Emerald Sea Amaranthine Moon. Yeah. Yeah, it was the devs contacted me about this game, so here we are. We're gonna be playing the game. I have no idea what the game is gonna be about. So we'll see. I'll try my best to read the dialogues as much as I can without my throat dying. Let me just the volume on my end. Oh yeah. Oh, we'll see. This is an Otome game, and apparently there's 3 love interests. Well, we'll see how that goes. Start the game. Yeah. Actually, let me double check this. Fine. And yeah, this is made in Renpy. I recognize the file stuff for this thing. I always wondered how slow time feels for adult vampires. Oh. For the fleeting time I was a vampire as a child, it was like a never-ending summer afternoon. I thought so. Some days I could play the day away with no heed for the time. I could explore every room in the manor, twice over, running from every corner to the next. Yeah, hey there, Tatsuya. Thanks for the daily redeem. Other days, the hours slink by, every second dripping by slower than the last. Even the shades couldn't shield the manor from the oppressively sticky heat of summer. Every step felt slower than the last. But for adult vampires who age at half the rate of humans, is it that same feeling? Of being stuck indoors during the longest summer day of the year? Also, yeah, I think we're playing as I think the MC is like a vampire? Are you doing fine? Doing fine. Woke up an hour ago. Or is it more akin to sitting in a backed up doctor's office? Or watching the fire crackle during the first snow of the year? Or waiting on a train that's forever delayed? It's annoyingly introspective. Annoying introspective thoughts like this that creep their way in as I have nothing to do but watch the grandfather clock tick closer and closer to the hour mark. A whole half hour I've sat here waiting. For nobody, apparently. All of the cordial letters and handcrafted gem samples I'd been sent were a sham. Or a prank. Once we agreed to meet in person to finalize the business proposal, he hightailed it somewhere else. I clenched audio of my dress. Clock chimes in mockery of me. And yeah, I think it's CMC. I I clutch a body with dress. Not even the servant has so much as entered the room or hallway to inform me of his tardiness. As the grandfather clock's chime echoes in the room, I glance outside. Day is almost over, but there is still some daylight left. I'm better spent outside than in here. My shoulders, promptly standing, and I leave. The nerve of him to gush about how interested he was in my business proposition, to boast about how perfectly handcrafted his gems were, only to sand me up. If another letter from him arrives, I'm tossing it in the fireplace. Rushed down an alleyway, not wanting to hit the crowds walking down the main street in broad daylight. At this time of day, the sun feels its brightest, most headache inducing. Back alleys, however, are always a pleasant source of shade in areas of town devoid of trees. Perfect on a hard day like this. But they're also perfect for hiding people. So our name is Lucy. I'm not sure if you pronounce that name like that, but no. A darkened figure tags along about a block's length from me. Skip to another alley. Follows. Press against the wall as I pass by a few workers on another alley. Turning at an intersection while I am obscured behind them. So follows. I'll have to do something more drastic. I doubled back to the first alley, taking a long circle, well, square, to get there without running into him. The stairwell of the building juts out just enough to hide myself with, so I lay in wait there for my pursuer. No one appears from around the corner. Maybe he gave up already? Lean forward to look down the alleyway, but something tugs on my hair ribbon. Oh. What do you think you're doing? Giving chase? Looks more like you're running around than up to no good. You're no fun. What are you doing out of the meeting so early? Went in to check on things and nobody was around. Oh. Her brother, huh? Okay. Let's get past my brother, ignoring his question. Hey. Come on, I want dinner. Didn't show up, did he? He must have thought he was too good for my offer. You see, he can't get far without help. Grit my teeth, I can feel Nemo looking at me with pity. Alright, go home. Turn back to grab his arm, but instead I'm met with a hand pushing down on my head. Hey! Sorry, it was a no-show. You'll find a better fit soon. Just don't try to rush these things. It's not like I'm going to kick you out. You don't even own the place, you moocher. Not a moocher. What's his is mine. That's how marriage goes. For someone who avoided commitment like the Cookie Man, he sure is bragging about it a lot now. Marcel? Hi there on the YouTube chat. There. Now come on, let's go home. Sends me an arm, leading us out of the alley. The floorboards creak underneath our feet as we step down the hallway to our flat. Darkened wood lines every wall, making the space feel several shades darker than it actually is. Also, the other residents should be home by now, winding down for the day. But more so than the sounds of footsteps, the melody of violin permeates through the hall. Soft, cautious. It's soft and cautious, each note more careful than the last. You can practically imagine someone reading from the sheet music while playing the notes. There's something quite relaxing about it. Not overwhelmingly loud, but comfortably resting in the background. Peace echoes through the walls, making it hard to tell where it is coming from. As we near our own flat, though, the note stops. I sigh to myself that we won't be able to hear it at dinner. Gross. Sorry to hear about that. I've heard so many good things about him. He's the jeweler who made my brooch and cravat, after all. Maybe something urgent came up. I'm sure you'll hear from him the next day or two. How dare he? Sending all those buttery letters only to stand you up. Act like it was a marriage proposal. Serious crime. That's what it is. Dog. Dog. Not that either. What? It's a nuisance. Just to have the pork chop on my plate. They're all suddenly more interested in eating their own meals. Dog. Food is rather good, thanks partially to the cooking classes Ambrose is taking. But it just doesn't sit well with me. Not tonight. I ate quickly, leaving a little under half of it still on the plate before heading to my room. Moonlight blinks through the blinds and across the floorboards. Bounces off of my mirror, just right hitting my eyes. So I've fallen asleep right after dinner. Don't usually take naps so late in the day. Push myself up on my bed, rubbing my eyes. It may be nighttime now, but I don't think I was asleep for very long. I can hear noises from the other room, so Milo and Ambrose are still awake. My nightstand glanced out of the corner of my eye. A bottle of pills. Oh. Modern marble of medicine to some, and an expensive hoax to others. Emeralds fine to the size of a pill have been found to be cure for vampirism, effectively negating a vampire's heightened abilities and their dependence on blood. At just the right size, they can be digested and dissolved into a person's body. Any larger and they can be poisonous to vampires who are weak to precious gems. Taking pills regularly can turn any person, no matter how long they've been vampire, back into a human. Oh. But whether that change is permanent or only lasts while the pills are being taken remains to be seen. While they're not a perfect cure and are rather expensive to acquire at a small scale, they're highly effective. I haven't had to drink blood in years. But I also haven't had the use of my heightened physical abilities in years. I don't care what you do as an adult. If you want me to be a vampire, then fine. Oh. I want you to wait until you're old enough to make that decision before all of your friends start aging faster than you. Turned 18 this month. I'm old enough to make my own decisions. I don't need my brother to keep looking out for me. Oh. Oh. Okay. Okay then. I guess. Oh, that's cool. It has like a small animation. Off the top and drop a tiny emerald pill into my palm. It's small enough to go inside a ring. Then I pop it into my mouth. May have enjoyed my brief time as a vampire, but I'm fine staying human for a little while longer. Not ready to age slower than anyone else just yet. Hey, Asian wing sauce. How you doing? Yeah, guess we have the choice to let the MC become a vampire or not. Huh. I'm going with the choice of not letting her turn into a vampire yet, but for now. I'm guessing there's a different ending if you let her. Oh. I'll make that choice for now, I guess. We'll see. Take one last glance at the bottle as I stand. There are many people still skeptical about the treatment, but Mr. Douglas was fascinated by it. Precious gems have long been a dangerous poison for vampires despite their staying power in ornate jewelry. Yeah, Haitian wing sauce. Hi there. Thought of using them for medicinal purposes rather than for looks or for harm intrigued them. Or so I thought. Him standing me up today was a final nail on that coffin. Shouldn't spend the rest of the early night hours sleeping, or else I'll mess up my sleep schedule. Oh, there's troll emote, the troll redeem. Emo and Ambrose are in the parlor, as I figured. Emo has hogged all of the candles and minimal lights, as he looks deep in concentration fixing the radio. Ambrose is reading the newspaper, despite the low lighting he's left with, since straining his eyes. Vampiric sight has many advantages. Okay. Still, I don't want to be their third wheel the rest of the night. Step out onto the balcony. Oh. I didn't see you were out here. No, it's alright. A third wheeling again? Apparently our brother is apparently in the MC's brother is married to a vampire guy. Something. If I'm understanding that right, but yeah. Cecil scrambles to his feet, suddenly eager to get up off of the floor. Ah, yeah. So yeah, this is the game I was talking about last week. So hi potato. What do you think I'm doing? Can't believe that, man. Setting you up like that. He ought to tarnish his thing. Damn, okay. He'll tarnish it himself in due time. Like that. I don't know who you are. The stream was just recommended to me. Just dropping off to give a like. Good luck with your game, stranger. Hey, thank you. Thank you over there on the YouTube chat. Hi there. And besides, I'm not sure how you, of all people, will even go about doing something like that. Find someone else to work with on it. Maybe I'll reach out to doctors again to gain more public approval before reaching out to manufacturers. My bedtime, but I hope you have a fun stream. Hey, yeah, you have a good night, Asian wing sauce. Thanks for dropping by, though. Oh, there's there's a part reverb. I think he chased him off or then help. He has enough work to do around campus, but he's insistent on going with me into every business meeting, party, and more. Can't tell if he fancies himself my bodyguard or my chaperone. Not even his family business. So, speaking of which, he'll be dealing with all of this soon enough. Eh? You think your family never has to renegotiate anything? That their mining privileges are set in stone? Their workers never ask for pay increases or more benefits? That their merchant deals are lifelong? Soon you'll be going, "Oh, Lucy, how did you handle all of this? So brave, you're so brave to start so young." I really say that. It helps turning back to the night sky. The past few years, he's had little contact with his parents. No more than greeting cards and letters. He's forced to write to them just to show he's alive. Instead of meeting several hours by train from the family manor, Cecil is living here. Stylish apartment that comes with Ambrose's role as headmaster of Bridal University. I don't know how to pronounce, but okay. Cecil and I share most of our classes as we're both focusing on business, so we can take on our family's companies. And yet sometimes it feels like it's hard to get a proper answer out of him when I inquire about his plans for the future. Chin up, you'll get to shadow a local business soon enough. Lucky you don't have to do that. You got plenty of real-world experience. They'll only let me count it towards classwork rather than letting me finish school early, though. His voice is small and short, cutting off his own words almost as quickly as they left him. Oh, hi, Nero. Hey, Nero, thanks for the raid. How are you doing? Oh, I was FF14. What were you doing today? Hey, hi, Nero. What were you doing in 14 today? Farming some relics in Pago so I can never see Eureka ever again. Oh, good luck. Good luck, buddy. I actually haven't done that myself, even though I do want the red mage weapon relic, but maybe when I have more time on my hands, maybe. We'll see. Maybe if I have more free time on my schedule, maybe. How's you? I'm doing fine. I'm just playing an Otome game, and I'm checking it out. So far, it's been interesting. I don't think I've played the Otome game that has a vampire MC yet. At least I'm not remembering anything, but yeah. Yeah, I'm down to 4 jobs missing, then no more pagos. Oh god. You need a hand. Oh yeah, I'll let you know if I do. Yeah, for now I'm not gonna think about Eureka for a while. I finished BA. I'm good for now. Oh yeah. Thank you for the raid. If you need to do your after stream stuff, feel free to do so. Yeah, but we're just gonna be chilling and my throat's gonna be dying. I reach over and pinch his ear. Ow. Not nothing if it came to you. So spit it out. It's just a stupid thought, but I was wondering if this is what you really want to do. Again, his words drift off the longer he talks. It is. I've had to live off of others' generosity for too long. People who think they owe it to my parents to keep me safe since... Wolf, hi. Hi there on the YouTube chat. I want to forge my own path going forward. To prove I can be on my own. What does that about me? Huh? I'm sure we'll find a good business partner before long, Lucy. After a moment, clear he intends to leave the conversation. Cecil's family is from your money, having made their living from mining operations for precious gems. While his ancestors may have sweated it out in the mines, current generations live by signing deals with property owners, negotiating labor work, mining the gems, and more. Huh. The idea of an opportunity has not been lost. Every time I bring it up or even mention it, however, he lets the conversation drop. It's nice. It's a nice night out here, isn't it? Catch his face. Far beyond the rooftops. Stars dot the sky above us. Shine back at us vibrantly, almost twinkling. I don't want to be so dependent on others anymore. To build something myself. Okay. For all the prestige and respect they hold, towering spires of... Still don't know how to pronounce that. Rido? I have no idea how you pronounce that. The morning glare is so consistent and forceful that most students go out of their way to take the long way around to the east entrance to avoid it. I would think the sun could be more considerate and less intrusive given the number of vampires working and learning on campus. Oh, okay, so it's... Guess it's normal that vampires are just around. As for Cecil and myself, we often avoid the problem entirely by winding through the gardens and taking shortcuts that only make sense when you're sitting out from the headmaster's apartment. Infuriating. I should be drafting contracts and celebrating now. Rough sigh escapes me. More a sign of exhaustion than anything I'm expecting out of the head. Classes will provide a moment's distraction at the very least. I need to keep my focus sharp and find another prospect quickly. In the future, once Cecil takes over his family's business, we can form a partnership and build a more secure chain of supply. There's no chance of that while his father's in control, unfortunately. Okay, happy lurking. If I recall correctly, Elm's family owns a series of retail establishments. I have no idea what business they are in exactly, but if he has some connections. Ambrose is also meeting with the university board soon. if I'm not mistaken. There are several prominent businessmen among the board, including at least two wholesalers and a renowned doctor. Perhaps I could convince Ambrose to arrange a meeting with at least one of them. Oh. So, what are you doing back there? Well, to start, I saw that stray cat that's been wandering around campus lately. And then by the time I tried to get your attention, you'd gotten this far ahead of me. You know that cat won't pay you any mind no matter how many slices of roast chicken you leave out for it. Trying to bribe it? Just wanted to show you, but you move so fast when you're lost in thought. I've not much choice in the matter, thanks to recent events. I'll have it sorted out soon enough. I definitely will. You'll have all the merchants in the city begging to partner with you before long. And someday I'll be saying the same to you. This doesn't come as easily for me as it does for you, Lucy. He smiles, but I know him too well to leave it at that. He's been so unsure of himself lately, but Donos more than capable of keeping pace with me even if he doubts it himself. He was up rather late last night, though. Not often I see him so easily distracted either. I have to ask him about it later. Cecil has been my best friend since we were children, and he always rushes toward me, even when it puts him in danger. I hope he isn't wearing himself ragged, trying to keep up with me now. The university gardens are always immaculate. Students and professors alike wander through its hedges, brushing between classes or taking leisurely strolls. It's also haunted if you believe rumors spun from mistaken sightings of marble statues in the dead hours of night. 5 years prior, a series of attacks by a vampire terrified the campus and kept most from venturing out after dark. I suppose classroom rumors are a sign of those recovery from that incident. Oh. Instead of a ghost, however, I see a tall, pale face beneath the lilac blossoms. Good, I need to catch him before class begins. Are you admiring the flowers, or have you been waiting for us here? Mr. Nice Guy, hi there. They're on the YouTube chat. The class went on for half a year now, and they both Cecil and I countless headaches in that time. All the expertise and wisdom kept in these hallowed halls. Also, our professors are dead set on explaining things in the most obtuse and unreasonable ways imaginable. Elm has keen talent for translating all of their theoretical jargon into a language anyone can. Family has several holdings in retail business outlets. Though now that I think more on it, I don't know much about what they do or where their money comes from. Elm doesn't like to give particulars about his family. It's easy to forget details like that when we talk. He always listens intently and he's consistently surprising even our professors with his insights. Not that you'd know from the detached air about him. No matter what the situation, Elm can always set someone at ease. Most often, I think, by taking much of their unease himself. You have a moment before a professor arrives? I'd like to speak with you about... Oh. His voice is so brittle, it's usually hard to read any of his expressions. Right now, he's clearly preoccupied. Today. What? Not in the sound state today. You feel unwell? You look hard, no doubt. Shakes his head. Oh, I'll tell you later. Oh. Wait, just a minute now. Before I can ask him what's on his mind, he ducks into the classroom and makes his way to a desk. See, what was Elm saying? He seems out of sorts. Not sure, it's almost as if he was in shock. You don't think he's got a summer cold, do you? I almost hope it's as simple as a passing sickness, but I've never seen that heaviness in Elm's eyes before. And, um, Professor's on her way. Lucy, let's decide. Oh. Oh. Elm trudges ahead and sits down on the back corner of the classroom, far from his usual seat near Sister I. I may not get another chance to speak with Elm until after class. Asking about his family business. I don't leave one of my friends languishing like that. Though I'll admit it's often hard to read his expressions. Maybe it will be a bad idea to press him on anything now if he's feeling unwell. And all sprinkles, and I force myself to follow along with Professor's groaning. Finding Elm after class proves more troublesome than anticipated. He accused himself partway through the lecture and never. He excused himself partway through the lecture and never returned. Now I've not an inkling of where he might be. Well, he's avoiding me in particular, but it does seem as though he's avoiding everyone. In which case, why would he have class today at all? I sigh and pace through the campus gardens, borrowing shade from hedgerows as I consider whether to keep up the search or let Elm be and turn focus elsewhere. Gonna save in case. Perhaps I ought to reach out to another tuber, though if Douglas calls on again. Well, he's had his chance. Oh, Lucy, is there another villain in need of reprimand? It's nothing that drastic. Have it all sorted out before long, provided that my brother doesn't fuss over me every step of the way. Wing is concerned as best he knows how. Finish your classes, where do they have it you? Oh, hey, Zuko! Hey there. For the lurk. You're napping. Yeah, hi there. I happened to have a free moment and I was planning to take a walk into town. I'd be delighted to join me. Ambrose offers me his elbow and space beneath his parasol. A gentle but nonetheless insistent invitation. He's far more considerate than his husband. Honestly, Nemo could at least ask before showing up to herd me like a wandering goat. I take Ambrose's arm and fall into step alongside the headmaster as he walks beneath the university's grand archway toward the center of town. I was considering that myself. I won't refuse the company, though I can't stay for long. You won't have to worry on my account. Errand should only take a few minutes at most. Suppose he's not in today either. After his third impeccably polite knock against an ornate shop door, Ambrose resigns. His errand, as it happens, was meant to be a quick stop to see a housemate by the name of Field. Oh. I'll have to see if Mr. Bristol has time. And what it is that you're looking to have crafted, I wonder? Ambrose smiles so fondly. It's obvious that he is planning some sort of gift for Nemo. I'll tell you as soon as I can be sure it's even possible. But for now, let's put it there. It's no surprise that Mr. Fairfield isn't in. Not replied to the letter I sent him last week either. So he must have left town without giving proper notice. How strange. In that case, was there anywhere in town you'd like to go? No, but I'm more than content to wander while we talk, shall we? Of course. It's been considerably mild of late, though I hear there's a storm coming in from off the coast. Perhaps I should ask Neo to fix the window shutter instead of tending to the overgrown trees around the storage building. Your last meeting went well, I take it? Was it the entire board of bees or just their representative? Aye, Lucy, you're more perceptive than some faculty. Ambrose closes his eyes and smiles softly, which I've come to know is a sign of resignation. I know he would rather wander aimlessly and take this time to distract ourselves from business, but can't let even narrow possibilities away. Yes, the board met earlier than usual. That storm we mentioned will make the roads unfit for travel. Many of them have business outside of Laurenburg. I can imagine what you're about to ask, but none of them are open to new business ventures. At least not yet. And how could you know that for certain? I may not have graduated yet, but any of them have any good sense. It isn't a matter of consensus. Ambrose sighs as we to a busy town square. The sun-battered awnings and ivy-covered eaves keeping us in the cool shade. We lost the first part of our meeting. One board member's complaints over a sneak oil salesman in his hometown. And another swore up and down that she'd been swindled by a jeweler passing off tinted glass as a movie. I know for certain that a few of them would be interested in the prospect of a treatment for vampirism, but this isn't the best time. That's sensible conclusion, but do you really think I could convince them? Regardless of whatever huckster they might be ranting about, living proof that they're secure for vampirism within our grasp. Wonder if it'd be worthwhile to stop taking my pills just long enough to use my blood arts again. All I need to do is prove that I'm a vampire, and then no doubt that you could convince nearly anyone. Not that I worry you might fail, Lucy. It's that I'm worried you'll push yourself to the point of collapse. Work diligently and almost without rest for months now, Lucy. I'm worried that you're driving yourself to exhaustion. Yeah, hardly close to being winded. Also as exhausted. Success in business often comes down to timing and seizing opportunity, doesn't it? And I certainly for opportunity soon. Ambrose pauses in the center of the crowd parts around us, as if we're standing on a small boulder in the middle of a rushing stream. Promise you that I'll tell you the moment I cross paths with the potential partner or investor. And you've already crafted a remarkable business plan. I think you could easily afford to take things slowly for a time, even if only for a few days. Though the look on your face tells me that you disagree. I don't see how I can rest on my laurels when I don't even have a supplier. Can't very well market a cure for vampirism if I have no way to actually offer it. And it's not as though it's easy to procure gems of the appropriate purity. Cost alone is prohibitive, let alone the time and skill required to process each skill. I have to solve this problem first. Otherwise, I can't even take the next step. I can feel my grip tighten around Ambrose's arm. But he says nothing. Relaxing again, I step forward and use my. Someday, I'm certain that vampires who wish to become human will be able to do so. Same ease as one I treat a recurring headache. And when that day comes, it will be a result of all your work and effort. Robert, hi there, YouTube chat. Hey, thank you for your advice and your concern. I'm more than comfortable at this space. However, and once I secure a viable partner, I'll have plenty of time for leisure and relaxation. At least for a few hours, I expect. Speaking of which, have you not heard anything else yet? Seems worried, far more than I expected he would be overhearing about the misappointment. Fortunately, I can't afford such studies now. Not a word, but it hardly matters. I won't waste any more ink on unreliable ads like him. That's concerning. I could understand if he didn't call yesterday evening, but to ignore you into the afternoon? Perhaps, we aren't far from his offices if you'd like to stop it. A waste of time, I expect. I'm grateful in spite of circumstances. Ambrose could hardly bear any blame for a jeweler's negligence. Though I'm sure he feels some responsibility since he's the one who passed for Douglas as a trustworthy prospect. I'll consider it once I've taken care of other business. Sure, it's a simple misunderstanding. Bell chimes above to mark the quarter hour. Ambrose waits patiently as the sound fades into the din of the town square. Then gestures back toward the university. Means I'm out of time, unfortunately. Got another appointment soon, so we heading back. Return to campus. Oh? No, I think not. I'll see you tonight at dinner, Ambrose. Of course. Should be a crown of lamb. Provided I'm not held up by the faculty. Bye for now. Ambrose turns and I let the shadow of his parasol slip away, leaving me in the sun. The afternoon crowds have filled the town square, with laborers and tradesfolk winding through the bakeries and market stands on their lunch break. Hey there, I'm crazed. Hey, welcome to the stream. Carriage wheels and newly shod horses leave a dull staccato the air as they pass one another in the street. Shop bells ring one after another. A large fountain babbles conversationally to people gathered around it, and in the distance, a small crowd applauds. Considering that Douglas's office is on the far end of the square, the sound of a violin catches my ear. That what warranted the applause. I hear. No. Hey, 150 stream streak. Hey, congrats. Back to my nap. Hey, have a good nap. There's something felt immediately familiar and canny. Never heard this song before. Certainly never in this place, but melody feels eerily nostalgic. Most skilled performer can evoke all sorts of emotions in their audience. Let's see what sort of person this fiddler is. Quick, the quick triplets and rich vibrato echo through the plaza, but actually seeing past the gathered crowd is becoming a hassle. A group of taller men in particular stand right in. Oh wait, a group of taller men in particular stand right in the middle, and I've half a mind to drag them to the back of the audience. There are people behind you. Damn. Hey, Mikey. Reach forward to pry the wall apart when the fiddler strikes a sharp chord and leaps up on the fountain's edge. Hi there. They raise their violin up and their fingers dance across its neck. The audience taps time. Bubbling warm prices in my chest. Like, wait, wearing a mask. Wear a mask, but they're clearly quite handsome. Okay. Their slick back hair shines in the afternoon sun. Hands cradle their instrument with a fierce delicacy. And the sound, I don't know where they were trained, but they're bursting with energy as if they can help but draw their bow across chanting. Hey, Parade of Fools. I've attended a fair number of performances in my life, from full chamber orchestras to unaccompanied singers in roadside tavern. It's been years since I've heard a performance so desperate I'm and impassioned as almost as if they're gasping for breath and that violin is the only air they can breathe. Finally, the middle-aged man bearing my path steps aside and I move a bit closer to the front for a better look at this masked fiddler. Moment passes where they look my direction. Despite the mask, I can tell our eyes met. Their bow hangs for a happy long. I hop back down to finish the song. Before I can find them again, a round of applause rings out and the people around me plead encore. Okay, clasp of an instrument case, they click shut. Are they leaving her? I get their name, at the very least. Musician with that level of passion and talent could be better than busking the square. I wouldn't mind hearing them play privately for me either. Hey, so pat forward. Eventually, the crowd breaks and people start dispersing in a dozen directions. Otavius Eterna, hi. Hi there in the YouTube chat. Welcome. Welcome to the stream where I try to read dialogues. Hi. By the time I reach the fountain's edge, the masked fiddler is gone. Fix something on the YouTube side. Fix itself. Got this. Hey, hi there. Meryl, hi. Happy streaming. Hey, thank you. So let me just fix something in the YouTube side because it's telling me that my bitrate is shit. uh, Oh. Hey, congrats on the 5 stream streak, Mikey. Hey, congrats. Yeah. Wait for this to fix itself. Just okay. So waiting for it to come back. And there we go. That's likely for the best. I almost let myself get carried off track. And some decisions are hazard in many ways. Wonder what the business prospects are like for the agents and representatives of popular performers. You're already taking on enough work for this? Oh. Oh, we have an ad break though, so gonna have to wait for that to finish. We have 3 minutes for me to actually rest my throat though. That's good. Okay. Ah, okay. Ad break done. I need to like rest my throat a bit. Yeah. And what have you come into town to fetch? Nemo lifts up a bundle of meat wrapped in butcher's paper. Crown, apparently. Come on, I'll walk you back unless you've still got business here. I sighed and let my shoulders sink. Let's go then. Getting hungry. You know this is for dinner, right? Don't worry, I'm not going to eat your husband's crown. Nemo holds his arm out and take it as move through the din of afternoon traffic. In a short while, we'll be back at the apartment I'll need to start drafting more inquiries and preparing samples. I'll consider what Ambrose said earlier. If I can secure a viable supply of gems, then I can prove the treatment's effectiveness more easily. Evening will pass eventually, uneventfully, by weeks, and I'll forget all about Douglas's audacity and insult. But that calm, unremarkable future doesn't come to pass. As I wind through the square and emerge from an alley, I catch a glimpse of the building where Douglas keeps his office. 5 police officers are gathered around the open doorway and huddle while other officers filter in and out of the narrow hallway. Stray phrases catch my ear. One officer says, "Hours." Another says something like, "Ready going cold." Oh. Oh. Found them earlier today. Since. Carriage rumbles past and drowns out the rest of the phrase. Chill sweeps over me and my feet pull me toward the ominous chatter. No reassurance or comfort are waiting for me in that office, nor in overhearing the officers outside. Even so, I walk closer. A rush of the traffic floods into the street as passengers head for the train platform. In the chaos, it's easy to slip away and duck behind an oncoming carriage before Nemo can even notice. Notice I've gone. Yeah, actually. Clock chimes at the top of the hour, a moment before I reach the doorway. Outside, the police are still chatting about how hard it will be cordon off the area and turn away gawkers. They don't seem to concern with all the people passing in and out of the main building though. It's almost embarrassing that I can slip in so casually without throwing a second glance. Douglas's office occupies the ground level of a fairly new yet imposing building close to the center of Laurenburg. Few of the neighbors have heard anything first. Finished documenting the scene. Call for a chemist while we're at it. That teacup smells like shoe varnish. Aw. You there. Check the locks on all the windows for tampering. This one's looking a lot like the Fairfield case. Hear an officer's voice coming from an open doorway. To my left. He continues, but I can't follow his words anymore. My eyes fall to a prone, rigid form dropped across a sofa near the back of the room. One of the officers steps aside and the face of a corpse stares back at me with a gaunt and glassy eyes. The officer's chatter confirms my fear. The man I was supposed to meet yesterday evening is lying dead in his office, blood cake around his lips. Oh. Someone there? They're out. This is a crime scene. No gawkers. The nearest doorknob is already in my hand. Ah, good, it's unlocked. Oh. Sunlight sinks my eyes as if I hadn't suffered insult enough, and my vision adjusts. I've often felt the unnerving sensation of reliving memories. And it never happened to me in the waking world, though. Grandfather clock's chime echoes through the room. Stands outside, the sun is still high above the rooftops. Clench the hem of my dress. I'm back in the same seat I occupied less than a day ago. waiting to finalize a business deal with the man now lying dead, less than a dozen feet away. My mind swirls and my memory gray. Douglas already dead by the time I arrived last night? I while I waited, never realizing. On the way in, I saw 5 coppers and inside 3, maybe 4 others. Breath catches in my throat. Natural deaths, no matter how tragic, don't draw this level of scrutiny. Murder, I'd like to be overreaching and leaping to unreasonable conclusions, but I can still recall the odd figure in alleyways last night. They know I was here? Douglas being killed as I sat in the chair? Oh. One of them mentioned Fairfield earlier. Is that the same Mr. Fairfield that Ambrose tried to call on today? Stray syllables leak out of the neighboring room, but can't hear anything complete. I press my ear to the wall, though. Oh. Tear my face away from the wall and grip the arms of the chair so firmly that my nails nearly ripped the upholstery. Oh. This crossing over into the absurd? Why is Elm here? And why has he changed his outfit completely since class? You've not been waiting long? No, I only arrived moments ago. What exactly are you doing here? Oh. Wait. I'm afraid you have me at a disadvantage, if I may. Oh. Oh. He reaches forward and before I can stop him, he's lifting my fingers to his lips. Oh. Ah. Oh. They like twins? I've never mentioned having a brother, let alone a twin. Why wouldn't he have brought that up? Despite the circumstances, I'm sure to make your acquaintance. Rowan, currently the head of my family's business and the status of this morning. Huh. Okay. At a glance, he looks just like Elm, but the air around him is completely different. I did look at him, that's not the guy, right? From the slight smirk tugging at lips to the confidence his posture, he holds himself with incredible assertiveness and poise. I allow him to take my hand in greeting, but I can barely keep track of what he says. Elm is his brother? Mr. Douglas was their father? That would explain Elm's behavior earlier. He must be grief-stricken. But, well, his brother doesn't betray a trace of sadness. Why didn't Elm mention his twin to me? And why is Rowan taking all of this in such an easy stride? Nice to meet you, Rowan. My name is Lucy. Sorry for your loss. It's fortunate, yes, but already had time to grieve. More bluntly, been something my father's outstanding business. And I do hope you're still interested in pursuing together. Dad, he closes his hands around mine and flashes a reckless grin. So brazen. You can see he takes after his father in that regard. I'm really glad you came by. I saw one of your recent letters among others papers, and I was hoping to run into you eventually so that I might apologize in person. And hear your proposal. Relieved to hear it. While your father, for one, shakes his head, sullen but non-so. Father put his work first at all times, even to the detriment of his health. He kept unreasonable hours and regularly worked himself to the point of exhaustion at his desk. So, in a way, I've been expecting this to happen almost every day for years. Polygon virus was found dead recently, so I'm sure coppers are just taking every precaution. My father was always in the greatest danger from himself. My condolences. What game? This is oh, that again. It's Crimson Waves on the Emerald Sea. This is an Otome game. I already told what game this is, but I don't know if you were listening. Does it have a mobile port? No, I don't think so. A writhing, coiling knot arises in my stomach. I'm still feeling from Douglas's death and the prickling unease left by my questions about Elm and Rowan. Their family business even safe. No, it's just worry. I'll have to sort it out later. Present, I need to know exactly why the police are here in such force. And I doubt that figure fleeing the scene last night was just a harmless bystander. You have everything in order. Shall we continue discussions of our potential partnership? Fortunately, the day after tomorrow is the earliest I could give you the attention you and your ideas deserve. That's acceptable. Are you understanding? Even though I fully expected my father to work himself to an early grave, I'll need a bit more time to make arrangements for his burial. Rowan smiles easily, but despite his confidence and aplomb, can't hide the crooked knot in his tie or stray loose buttons on his cuffs. Wonder if he's taking his father's death worse than he appears. Though I still don't see why the police would be so interested in the jeweler's natural death, no matter how untimely. I have my sympathies. Time shall I meet you then? You're pretty forward, you know. Not fond of delays unless they're absolutely necessary. Element of addition. Charm. Let's meet at my family's manor after breakfast. Close to the university and waste less time stepping aside for offers. Perfect. I'll look forward to formalizing your part then. As will I, Miss Lucy. Rowan bows deeply, raising his face to meet my eyes and flashing that reckless grin of his once more. He is certainly inherited his father's sense of flattery. And the window just behind the grandfather clock, I noticed Nemo searching for me among the afternoon crowds. I'm not really at ease with the police lingering so close by either. Time to head back. Thank you again. Pleasure to meet you. By the circumstances, take my leave. Of course, and we'll speak again soon. I leave the small meeting room quietly, hurry down the hall, slip behind the coppers, and grab Nemo by the arm, pull him into an alley. Next bite, hide there on the YouTube chat. And you could have just told me where you were going? Something caught my attention. Not a suspicious figure I chased through the alleys when you found me? Yeah, because that was me. Trying to catch a burglar to pass the time? That's... Oh, well, in any case, it's a burglary, in fact. This whole affair might be more involved than I anticipated. Huh. Nemo can be overprotective at times, but he knows when to listen. And he's fairly good at it when the mood strikes him. So he listens as I tell him everything I saw. The condition of Douglas's body, Rowan's sudden appearance, and the murmurs I heard from him. Wouldn't be putting this many coppers on the scene if they thought Douglas's death was natural, would they? Probably not. Wouldn't be the first time the coppers rushed through the wrong so. Might be certain it's murder, but they're wrong more often than a broken clock. Maybe so. Think the coppers might be right? No, but it's strange. One says he's certain that Douglas's death is natural, though he also told me that one of Douglas's colleagues died recently as well. Up at Nemo and he returns pensive glare. I know that looked pretty well, warning me not to dive head first into something dangerous. Helm's twin brother. Well then, what do you think? About that? Not sure. He looked pallid skin, blood dribbling down his neck, straining his shirt, empty eyes. No expert in these things. I didn't see any obvious ones, at least. Perhaps the coppers are leaping conclusions as they often. I deny the shock at Douglas's death has caused me, or the uncertainty that Rowan's appearance has brought about. Nima and I talk about possibilities of contingencies from future business all the way home. Not that he knows how to navigate such measures with the requisite delicacy. Depart at the university gates, and for the next several hours until nightfall, I try and fail to find any trace of Elm. Feels as though I woke up a full week ago, and I've been running without a rest since then. With everything that happened though, I find that there's one in particular that won't leave my mind. They her again? Um. Wonder why there's four. Wonder why there's four choices, but sure. Elm has been a true friend for some time now, and he's joined Cecil and I on more than a few of our misadventures. Though we met a few years previously, I've been gotten to know him even better since we started sharing classes. Desperate. I've never seen him so completely at loss. What could have kept him from telling us about his family? That he has a twin brother, even. If I can find him tomorrow after class, I'll make a point to hear him out. There's an easy weight in my chest. Elm and Rowan both lost their father last night, and if Elm is feeling anything like what I felt as a child when I learned of my family's fate. Enough of this. Speculation won't help Elm anyway. Speculation won't help Elm any, and it won't get me any closer to understanding what I'm going through. I'll speak with him tomorrow, once I've had more time to recover from the shock of today. Thinking any further will only tie my brain into knots, and I've not time to untangle that. And more than that, even these thoughts can't keep the ghastly image of Douglas's lifeless face from intruding into my memory. Sleep will help, yes. Sleep will help, yes, I'll sleep. And I can only hope that tomorrow is a calm day. Oh. Nostalgia can be an insidious thing. All too easy to hold fondness of memories when the pain of the moment dulls and you remember only the simple sweetness and thrill. On particularly bright summer mornings, I catch myself getting wistful as I think about the time I spent darting through empty classrooms and on campus, hiding out in hay lofts and scouring back alleys while I search for answers. In spite of any excitement, 5 years ago when Cecil and I planned takeouts to search for my parents' killer, memory of that time is stained with tears. Whenever I feel a nostalgic pang as I pass by a classroom, all the fun I had roaming free in Laurenburg, remember how many nights I spent crying myself restless. I'll remember my parents properly, and just learning of their deaths devastated me. Tears and clenched fists, bared fangs, and reckless adventure all led me to an even more painful answer in the end. Grief never allows a convenient course. There are rarely simple villains whose dispatch will close all our open wounds. Elm and Rowan lost their father just hours ago. Father they both knew and spoke to every day. Perhaps that's right. Don't actually know anything about Elm's relationship with why? In all the time we've known one another, never mentioned that he has a twin or that his father was a prospective business partner of mine. I'm sure I mentioned the deal to him once while we were studying after class. Rowan's face keeps coming to mind as well. He was charming, inviting even. If I hadn't seen his father's sparse moments before we met, I might have even had butterflies on my stomach. Hey, girl? Hey? That familiar mixture of confusion, excitement, and mystery. Terror fills in the space between my thoughts again. Sitting at the front of the classroom, I can't keep the whirl of memory and curiosity distracting. If Rowan was so unfazed and moved on so quickly from his father's death. Relationship really that bad? If so, then why is Elm so distraught? Even now, I can tell he's barely paying any attention to the professor. So if he's close to his father, why has he mentioned either his family or... Of course, the most salacious possibility could be true. Already entertained and dismissed the notion that Rowan had killed his father to take over the family business and that Elm was living in fear of what might happen after Matt. It was my first and immediate suspicion after leaving Douglas's office. But Noah and I both agreed that it was unlikely, at least. If Rowan were the killer, he could have chosen a far more convenient time and method that would draw less suspicion onto himself. Not fully convinced that he is innocent, of course, but I'd like to believe him. Perhaps I'm just extending goodwill to him because of my concern. That will be all today. We'll be discussing the next guys, please on currency exchange here this week, and you may call upon me if you have questions. Yesterday, I met your twin, Rowan. Twin brother? Truly? Yeah, why didn't you tell us? Does he attend school here too? I didn't. There's been a lot happening lately. I heard about your father. I'm sure you've had your reasons, but you keep all that a secret from us. I may be entering into business with your brother and want to know. Stop suddenly, and the rails of my thoughts vanished beneath me. What am I expecting of him now? Is it that I really want to know? Don't know. Tom looks exhausted and anxious. There's a miserable icy weight in the pit of my stomach. I feel so innocent. Nothing worth mentioning. To get going, there's another class coming in soon. And is that true? Wait a moment. Do you mean that scoundrel who stopped is Elm's father? Sorry, I need to go. There's an appointment, and Elm backs away as he stammers out his words. His eyes are meeting my own. I wish to grab his shoulder, but he's even quicker than I expected. Oh, there he goes. He leaves, Cecil and I standing in the midst of the other students, filtering through the classroom door like water over where. Follow him. I'm worried about where he might wander. I think I'll leave him to you, Lucy. Someone gives me a sheepish smile and ducks away. I got something earlier, so I'll stop by town to fetch it. Don't wait up for me. What did you forget? I can lend you my books if you need. I don't think Cecil is even listening by now. Is he anxious about evading Elle's family secret? Oh, there he goes. He hurries away, waving an apology as he goes. Oh, he goes. Okay. He doesn't wait though. There was soot on his knuckles. That closes off any room for doubt. He's absolutely hiding something. Knowing Cecil is liable to get in over his head before he realizes he should ask for him. Oh, I'm not about to let him leave that. I guess we're going Elm all the way. Much as I'd like to know what Scott says of reaching out suddenly, I know he'll tell me in time. Elm though. Should only be a few paces down the hall. He isn't even walking quickly. Every step toward him feels like I'm walking through lapping waves. I'm anxious. I was too focused to notice it sooner, and now I've only got the span of a few yards to think of what I'll say. I need to know why he kept his twin's existence secret, but do I say to someone who lost their father just nights past? Oh, okay. I only hesitated for a moment. He's probably on his way back to his manor, right? Not in shoes built for sprinting, but can manage 100 yards at least. I recall the directions Rowan gave me well enough to be able to follow the roads and catch along the way. Plus, he's running at a breathless pace. I should at least be able to catch sight of him before he shuts himself away. And I can easily keep up his moderate pace for longer if I need to. No reason to keep running. Not out of breath, but I still feel my pulse quicken. So I sit down beside the stoic marble bust of one of the university founders on a short pedestal up through the vines. Perhaps Ambrose was right. There are things I might miss if I rushed straight ahead. Flowers here are lovely. They only bloom for a day or two. They'll be gone once the storm passes through. Shame then. I'm sure Ambrose won't mind if we cut a few to keep before the wind carries them off. Whether head masterminds or not, I don't think your brother would let you steal a gardener's shears again. Next thought doesn't form completely in my mind. Elma and I both linger uncomfortably for a moment. I'm gonna save just in case. Helm tenses briefly as I reach up. For now, I have to do without asking about Rowan. I pinch a stem of a lilac high on the arbor, twist it swiftly and snap it off the vine. I offer it to Elm, frankly proud of myself. I don't need to see anyone's shears, fortunately. Don't, Lucy. Smiling. He's a little, which is significant for someone like him. So, heard that my father died the night before last. Yeah, Perito, hi there on the YouTube chat. I didn't expect it. I thought it wouldn't happen in seconds. Father wasn't the most man. Worked for sun up to long after sundown, upon week. He especially threw himself into work over the past several years. Always thought he'd work away his time. Good to talk to him. It was the day that we're supposed to meet. Have to if you do want to talk about your father, though, I've got a better set of ears than the founders. What game is it? An Otome game called Crimson Waves on the Emerald Sea. Cameron, hi. You're on the YouTube chat. I tilt my head toward the marble bus beside us. Elm chuckles slightly. You're attentive, at least. Some effort. Helm rises to his feet and accepts a lie like a plexus does. Sight of him bringing the petals up to his nose, smiling at the scent, and then placing the flower in his breast pocket is unexpectedly beautiful. Sorry, I've been avoiding you incessantly lately. Like to walk with you for a while? What? Yes, by all means. Flower and come to find me. Hope you didn't expect I'd let you languish here on your own. Thus it would have come with me too, but he had something to attend. Something which I'm going to ask him about. Why did he rush up like that? Vines are so old and well tended. Doubt even the hurricane could stop them from blooming every year after year. If only it were that easy for us. I can hear bitterness pulling down Elm's quiet laughter. We walked on through the garden, soon through the university gates and town. Nick Elm's arm once we're in the midst of the afternoon crowds. Always a little stiff in these moments. I think he has never been accustomed to such. Told me that he doesn't dislike its fury, but when anyone else touches his arm or shoulder, it makes him keenly aware of his own body in a way he's rarely pleased. Suppose I can understand. I've heard some people experience this when they turn into vampires and suddenly have a heightened awareness of themselves, including any misgivings or anxieties they have. In Elm's case, though, I always wondered if it wasn't just that he spent so much time in his own mind that he really gives his body a second thought. Time slips by us as if we were swimming against the flow. Walking slowly as the sun drops toward the rooftops of Laurenburg. Once 3 summers passed, Cecile and I walked through the streets. Forget if we even had a goal or if we were just enjoying a carefree afternoon, browsing the storefronts and window displays. Stopped by a clockmaker, one of those old shops with yellowed windows, and the faded sign above the door. Brass handle on its entrance was smooth and worn from the weight of thousands of hands. Elm stood there, transfixed and singularly focused on an open pendulum clock with its shifting gears. The small city moved around its base with porcelain carriages and ladies beneath lace parasols, shifting at each quarter hour. Yeah, did you too? Barely spoke above a whisper. And wondrous. See every part laid out and fitted together so finely. Still eagerly read, and the two spent the fair while excitedly chattering about the marvelous way of precision engineering. Though Elm didn't seem as taken with the fine embellishments. Rather than the decoration on each piece, Elm stared at the whole mechanism as if he were gazing at the night and mapping every star. Laid out and plain to see, every piece and part harmony. You could almost hear his words from all those years past as clear as the time of that clock. He's certainly a strange fellow, but a reliable friend, and steady presence. Perhaps that's why seeing him so shocked has left me a nervous one. Up ahead of us, a young couple walks away from an alleyway stall with absolute glee. Middle-aged man with a brilliant sapphire necklace and matching cuff links waving goodbye to his last customers and beckon Elm over with the same motion. The table is full of rings and pendants, all set with enormous gems, which is why I'm confident he's key for a counterfeit. My jaw nearly drops, but mostly because of the quality of the gems in front of me. There's a topaz nearly the size of my thumb, and without a single impurity. I would, but I forgot my wallet. Wait, don't lie. Why did he think I was the pure? Oh, come on now. You might think these are a princess treasure, but I assure you, they're more reasonable than you expect. Sir and madam, these are all reconstructed rubies. We've concocted them in test tubes and grown them to tremendous size, all for less than a miner's monthly wage. Constructed. See, these are made for the modern scientific community. Familiar, Elm? I borrowed a book on the process if you'd like to see it. Back at the campus library. Are lovely. Oh no, it looks like he's taken with a pair of ruby hairpins and hasn't caught my meaning. It'd be lovelier if one of them wasn't fake. Yeah. Thought I'd muttered under my breath to file it quiet for anyone but Elm to hear. But judging by the color now draining from his face, I must have been louder than I intended. Spencer squints at me and leans far over the table, thrusting the hairpins toward me. Oh, thank you. Oh, wait. Gems may well be synthetic, but the settings here are finely crafted. That's a high grade of silver, too. The ornamentation on the hairpin is worth more than he's charging for the pair. No, you haven't. That now? Just as I thought, his cheery demeanor only held up while he thought we might still be gullible. He traded out his honeyed flattery for a sweeter's grasp. Fortunately for him, I've spent weeks reading the latest chemical research into synthesizing gems. Fortunate for both of us, really. It's either a thief or a counterfeiter. Either way, he's drastically overestimating just how large synthetic gems can grow. Latest. If I'm not mistaken, I think some of these pieces are worth far more than you're asking. You should get them appraised. Otherwise, I'm afraid you might be losing your fortune. Thank you for the offer, but we'll be on our way. Elm shaking out the distraction on his face and sharp glare at the vendor before we walk away. Oh. He's grabbing my wrists with vice grip. Oh boy. Should I apologize for being too generous? Clearly you don't know what you got your hands on. I'll immediately wrest the man's arm away and stands between the two of us. Uh, Jaziel, hi. I'm here in the YouTube chat. It's amusing to see the older man shrivel under Elm's gaze. Then realize he so intense, if I'm being honest. They stare one another down for a moment before the vendor, or thief more likely, lowers his hand to step back. Oh, okay. Oh. Elm turns down the street and I glance back at the likely thief as we go. I only notice the glint of a blade when he's already rushing up the elm. Oh. The man lunges and Elm pushes me aside. A guttural shout fills the alley and Elm staggers. He's holding the man back as he winces in pain. He looks over to me and my blood chills until I hear the metallic clatter of the knife falling against the pavement. It's magnificent to watch in a way. Elm twists the man's wrist around, cinches an arm behind his back with those tacky sapphire cufflinks shining in the afternoon sun, and shoves him away with indifference. Makes it look almost effortless. Kicks the knife into an open sewage grate and hurries over to meet me. I'm desperate to get back to the shade of the campus gardens. More activity than I expected for one afternoon. Right? I was worried you'd been stabbed. Elm glances down at himself as if he hadn't thought to check until now to see if there was blood blooming on his shirt. Fine? He had poor grip. Not sure he wanted to hurt me, only intimidate us. Could have killed you. Serves more than an imprint of the street on his face. Thank you. I may have antagonized him too much, not that he had an even temper to begin with. Elm smiles back at me just for a moment, for a thought distracts him and pulls his attention away. That's Bender couldn't possibly have had actual synthetic gems, could he? He's likely guilty of more than just a momentary outburst in any case. Those were lovely hairpins, though. Suspiciously lovely. Those gems were clearly fake, and he admitted as much. But the settings were genuine. What's this game? Haven't heard of any schemes of that sort. Perhaps Ambrose and Nemo might have heard something about this. Finally back at the campus gardens, thankfully. Cool breeze and gentle shade of relief. Elm's still quiet. Been staring into the distance for some time now. Well, shall we return inside then? Oh. Haven't had the best relationship with the rest of my family for a few years now. Nothing intriguing or scandalous. My father devoted himself to his work above all else, as I said. Since my mother died, he's barely shared the living space with me, let alone a meal. Brother. Elm's eyes started away, as if he can't help but glance toward the forest on the horizon. Fine person. Okay. Voice is clearly strained. More to this, of course, but I want to go further right now. I may have been too aggressive in questioning him this morning. Focus on the shock of learning of Douglas' death that announced a relation to him. Too oblivious to the pain it was causing Elm. about them. Well, within your right. I'll have to say anything more if you'd rather not. Nods slightly, and for a time simply stand beneath the arbor of lilac blossom. Tomorrow I'll meet Rowan and discuss a potential business partnership. Should likely ask around about that strange vendor too, in case there's something staring in the jewelry market. Now, however, I can't seem to focus on anything but the odd distance in Elm's face. It's as though he's gone away and left himself here while he visits memory. Bell chimes and signals the top of the hour, breaking us both free from the garden's palm. Got to prepare for my meeting with Rowan still, and I'm curious to hear if there's been any word on why the coppers are so interested in Douglas' death. Another class with me. Stands eyes over mine as he gently pulls his arm away from me. Finding me today. Of course. Must look like an utter fool being flustered so easily. Elm's voice is so soothing, I almost forgot myself for a moment. I've got preparations of my own, so we'll speak again tomorrow. Elm nods, though I'm not sure he heard me. Night falls quickly and then seems to stretch on for ages. So Ambrose's dinner of that is, and beyond my hurried scrawling on ledger paper on low lamplight. Fall into bed just before midnight with every little show for the hours I spent poring over my correspondence with Douglas. My mind keeps wandering as I read his letters again, much to Elm and his strange suddenness of Douglas's death. And if that weren't enough to contend with, the odd wares from that vendor this afternoon bother me a deal. Focus. Clear my thoughts, or I won't be prepared for negotiations with Rowan tomorrow. Only hope that finds me. Oh, fade avoid. The early dawn light casts Rowan and Elm's manor home in the stark silhouette. Its main gate stands open wide. Fences are low. This was the style in past when they were still made of stones, quarried from the local cliffsides. A pair of tall cypress trees greet me as I approach the front door. John Davidson, hi there. A pair of tall cypress trees greet me as I approach the front door, planted on each side of the moss-laden path. Hedges surrounding the main house are trimmed, though not recently, and the grounds orderly but without much ornamentation. The light mist flickering over my feet and through clinging to the grass like grass make me feel as if I'm sinking further into the earth. It's quieter than the city proper, which isn't much of a surprise given how close the estate is to the dense forest that surrounds Nuremberg. All of this is well and fine, but the house is still dark and kind of bent within. In fact, peering into their dining room now, it looks like they haven't used it in weeks. Oh, I suppose Rowan must take breakfast later than most people. Oh no, he's quite an early riser. What? Who's there? Don't just sneak up behind people like that. Oh, old man. Also, hey, Kana. Forgive me, I didn't mean to startle you. Must be Miss Susie, take it. Oh, Ben, you have an ad break. Yeah, but 3-minute ad break, I'm gonna take a break because my throat is actually dying. Gonna take a break. I'm also gonna go take a bathroom break. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Um, A gentle, almost grandfatherly voice issues from a kindly older man standing on the manor steps. He's wearing an old but well-tailored suit, and his smile is almost invisible behind a bushy mustache. I'm Molly Ford, family friend. Suppose that's the best way to put it now. Douglas was my closest friend for years, and now, as you see, his voice trembles slightly, and he covers a slight crack in his composure with a forced smile. Oh. Oh. God. turn on the AC. It is getting hot. God damn it. I'll come inside by all means. Rowan has told me that he's expecting you. And he should be along shortly. Boys are a bit short-handed with the suddenness of it all, I'm afraid. Yes, I can imagine. Mr. Willowford, are you staying with them presently? No, much as I'd like to. I'm assisting them as best I can with the passing of their father. Rowan insists he's got everything under control, but she'd take more time to properly. Can't imagine what these boys must have felt. Their father in such a horrible state. Shakes his head as if trying to shake an image out of his memory. Let's talk of happier things for now, at least. I'd be happy to show you to the parlor while Rowan finishes his breakfast. Thank you, that would be lovely. Like the kindly older gentleman. Though I can tell he must be exhausted from the weight of his steps and the dark circles beneath his eyes. Don't doubt that Douglas's death came as a shock to him as well. And he's likely been scrambling to help the twins reconcile all their father's outstanding business and his funeral plans on top of it all. Do Rowan and Elm have no other family? Remember Elm mentioned that his mother died when he was young, though. So I'm surprised Williford is the only one here to help in the wake of their father's death. Williford guides me past a grand oaken staircase and into a small but pleasant parlor. In contrast to the rather plain front lawn, Douglas clearly spent a great deal of time and effort furnishing this room before his death. His portrait, painted in oils and stretched across a grand canvas, hangs above the mantel. Even after his death, he continues to look over his room and all passed through it. Latest electrical fixtures adorn the wall, and the chairs are all neatly upholstered, similar to those in his office waiting room. In fact, their patterns and design are identical. Not eager to stand long sitting in another of those armchairs, waiting alone as the clock ticks onward. Make yourself comfortable. I'm happy to accompany you here or fetch a refreshment if you like. No, thank you though. I'm sure Rowan will be along shortly. The walls are largely decorated with newly framed and recently painted works, primarily from local artists doing studies of Laurenburg's coastline or Majesty of the Sea at dusk. All except for the largest painting hanging above the unlit fireplace and dominating the room with its presence, an aged hand-carved frame barely constrains the canvas nearly as tall as myself. Violet swirls of deep indigo and stark white hues form the image of an ancient seaside village buried under a suffocating blanket of snow. Every light in every window is blazing. Every tree is bowed low against the wind. And in the center of town, it almost looks as if a small child lies frozen, still just a few paces from the warmth. It's unnerving, to say the least, beautifully crafted, but completely at odds with the rest of the room's decor. You've noticed the centerpiece, I see. Yes, it's beautiful, though it seems a bit dreadful. It is, of course. Do you know that village there is Laurenburg? Laurenburg of nearly 3 centuries ago. You mean that this is a scene? This only Portugal slightly seems thankful for the distraction, grim as it is. I could tell you the story of it if you'd like to hear. I'm curious. I'd also like to settle business with Rowan sooner rather than later, but I haven't heard so much as a stare from the rest of the household. Yes, please tell me. I didn't originally grow up here, so I'm not well versed in local history. Ah, yes. This was one of Douglas's favorite stories to tell over fireside chats. I think I remember the meat of it, and not at least the bones. Our families have lived in the area since the earliest days of Laurenburg, perhaps even before its founding, though records of that time are scarce. In those days, the forest stretched nearly to the seaside, and houses were often built from the very trees that were cleared to make way for their foundations. The inlets were always rich with shellfish and other bounty, and I'm sure you've heard of the city's origins as a waypoint for merchants traveling coastline. But forgotten now. But back then there was a petty quarrel among neighbors that gave several families cause to uproot from their homes in the center of town and strike out for the heart of the nearby forest. Several weeks they flitted between the forest edge and the market square, gathering materials, supplies to last the winter. First frost, they loudly announced their departure and that they intended to quit Laurenburg for good. In some stories, it was just a single family, mind you, but in others, there were nearly 50 individuals in the party. So, history. At any rate, the rest of the village quickly forgot the quarrel that spurred their neighbors to self-imposed exile. And with the chill of winter descending, few people paid the departed group much mind. Now you must understand, if you've not ventured deep within the forest outside of the city, you may not realize just what density of ravines and sheer hillside can be hidden behind a layer of sparse. As with most coastal forests, the bog occupies much of the lowest elevations, and so the firm sort of ground with which you might build a house or even pitch a tent is to find there. These days, we have well-cleared paths and scenic areas for picnicking and excursions, but back then it was largely untrodden and wholly settled territory. So you see, we know how things started out for the group, and we know most likely how they ended, but know very little of what happened during the first 5 weeks of winter, before everything came to its dreadful conclusion. I'm sure you're aware by now, Laurenburg has a mild weather most of the year, but we're prone to fierce blizzards coming from the north and terrible storms washing in from the sea or upriver. I hear a wonderful winter storm piled snow deep as your shins across the ground in a single night. The winds keeping up through the day, most folks kept doors until it ran its course. It was at the height of the storm with the wind raging so bitterly it would sting your eyes like vinegar simply to stand outside. That a child ran out of the forest, trudged through the deep snow, and threw themselves against the nearest door frame. It was dark, but not yet full nightfall. Most of the townsfolk heard the child's cries for help and pleas for shelter. The innkeeper with the clear doorway brought the child inside as quickly as they could, but the poor thing was suffering from frostbite in the limbs and odd wounds across their hands and neck. Even stranger was the story the child muttered as they sat bundled by the fireside. Desperate and broken story that you can hear told in a dozen ways if you search archives, I'm sure. In every version, however, the child said that their parents and other adults, every member of their family was gone, taken by fairies of the wood, allegedly. No one present got any great clarity on the matter, as most were fixed on helping the child recuperate. Fortunately, combination of malnourishment, frigid cold, and their still bleeding wounds proved fatal. In the spring, a few curious youths forged an expedition to the forest to see what became of the small settlement, but they never found any trace of habitation there. If there weren't such clear records of the events and of that child's return in the midst of the blizzard, it was more reasonable to assume there was never any attempt to settle in the forest at all. Time after, tales of creatures and strange beings talking pervaded town's imagination. These days, there's little trace of those superstitions beyond nursery rhymes, but this painting is an artifact of that era. It's an unsettling piece, yes, but it's deeply ingrained with the history of the town. Perhaps a reminder that even the most brazen vampires have kept shy of the deepest woods throughout the years. Billy Ford finishes his story with a decisive clap. And as he does, I hear another clap join the response. Oh. Well, there's the other guy. That was a marvelous rendition, Uncle Williford. Trying to show my future business partner away now, are you? Oh, the nerve of this boy. Was he waiting all this time just to make that entrance? Well, dream of it. Oh, just relaying the story of this old portrait. Forgive me, I think I might need to sit a moment. Rowan laughs and pats the older man on the shoulder. I ought to lie down. Been running around without pause for the last couple of days. Take a rest. Alma and I will be more than alright, monsieur. Yes, perhaps I ought to. Feel free to borrow one of the guest rooms upstairs if you'd like. Grab yourself, please. There goes the old man. Seems sincere in his concern, at least. Call him Uncle Williford. True. Wonder if Rowan is close with him. Well, in any event, I know what I'm here for. Rowan, it's a pleasure to see you again. Likewise. Lucy, shall we continue our discussion over a morning stroll? Yes, by all means. Lead the way. Please focus on the discussion at hand rather than distracting me with flirtation. Oh. Okay. It's a charming estate. Has it always been in your family? For generations, I believe. All but a few of our distant relatives left the city long ago. But I'm told we have an illustrious past and heritage. Don't seem particularly interested in that history, from the sound of it. I'm certain I'll be in time, but there are a few more pressing matters on my mind at present. I've gone from assisting my father to taking on everything we once divided amongst ourselves. But nothing so important as meeting with you, Lucy. Okay. Flattery. I can see he's got his mind on business. I can imagine it's been quite hectic. Trust you've reviewed all my correspondence with your father. I have. Got lovely penmanship, you know. Keep that. Thank you, though I was hoping to discuss the content of my letters rather than their styling. Your family business is quite impressive, both in terms of the jewelry father crafted and the connections your family has. Yes, my father had fine talent for selling gems. I've got a good eye for quality myself. Flashing a present smirk at me. Does family have any business sense beyond flattery or flirtation? That's good to hear. As I mentioned in my letter, I'm looking for a reliable partner who can help me procure, assess, and cut gems of extremely high purity. Your father was confident in his buyers and his own skill. Shame he's no longer with us. It is. Everyone nods in affirmation and quickly hops a low garden wall, continuing to walk along the other side as we make our way across the grounds. I can promise you, though, I'm more than capable of leading our family's enterprises. Tell me, Miss Lucy, do you have any interest in? It's enjoyable, yes. It's another one of your family's. I seem to recall that you all maintain ownership of a few retail establishments. Oh yes, but that's not why I asked. I recently came into possession of a magnificent light tea, and I was hoping you might like to try a cup. Delicious tea at the center of an afternoon meal is like a beautiful gem in a fine setting. That's so palmy. It was too to be, Rowan. Smiling through clenched teeth. Calm down. Can't believe I'm letting myself get so irritated over Rowan's smug expression. I could start the pot right now. In fact, delightful tea and good company can do as much for my health as medicine. Thank you, but I'm quite alright for the moment. Since you mentioned medicine, however, I take it you're familiar with the proposal your father and I discussed regarding the cure for vampirism. Yes. He turns and grips the garden wall with both hands, beaming up at me. The astonishing. I asked when I heard the details in your letters. He's so effective? I'm living proof. If you have any doubts, it's just as simple as taking any concoction from a chemist. It's entirely reliable. It will change the lives of so many if they knew they had a choice to live as human or a vampire rather than being forced into a new way of life. Don't you agree? Yes, magnificent development. You have to tell me the story of how you came upon it. Gladly, though perhaps another time. It's a long story, and I'd rather not stray too far off track. Well then, I look forward to that in our future meetings. I'm excited to carry on my father's work, most particularly with you. Excited? He seems sincere enough, though there's something uncanny about his manner. When we first met, he claimed that he'd been prepared for his father's death for years. But even so, he's altogether too eager. If he really is so unaffected, then he probably won't mind if I satisfy my curiosity. My condolences again. I hope things aren't too hard on you in the wake of your father's absence. It's nothing I can't manage, though I do wish he was here to help me through it. I imagine coppers haven't been any comfort. I was shocked to see somebody there in your father's office in town. Ah, yes. Rowan smiles, but he also hesitates. I suspect it's just a precaution on their part. As I mentioned, one of our colleagues, Mr. Fairfield, attacked and killed recently. So I've heard, I'm not sure I follow though. Apart from being business associates, what would your father's death and Mr. Fairfield's have in common? Well, this is all the copper speculation. I don't give it much credit, but some years ago, my father and his closest colleagues clashed with a ring of counterfeiters here in the city. Ah. The ringleaders of that group are all stuck firmly behind bars, however, so I doubt it was an act of revenge. I think I recall reading about that in the paper. I had no idea Douglas was involved in apprehending them, though. He was instrumental in it, in fact, but that's why I'm confident that the coppers are making a fuss over nothing. My father outwitted that band of criminals at the peak of their influence, so I don't think the directs of their organization could have possibly gotten the better of him. Oh god. A few years ago, not long after I arrived in Nuremberg, papers were abuzz with news about a conspiracy of jewelry thieves. Hucksters selling fraudulent gems, vandals intimidating local businesses. Silence. Eventually, the police announced that they'd apprehended the leaders organizing the group, though they never recovered any stolen wares or ill-gotten gains. If Douglas was involved in uncovering the counterfeiters' crimes, that would certainly make him a target for their ire. Apologize for bringing up such an unpleasant subject. No, it's no trouble at all. I don't want you to have any uncertainties or misgivings about our future partnership. Please, by all means, ask me anything you'd like. In that case, you've read through the business proposal I presented to Douglas, haven't you? I'd like to go over the finer points of our market projections and the surplus needed for reliable distribution. Oh. I'd much rather we forego any of those details today. After all, as I said before, you have me at a disadvantage. Barely know one another. I'm sure you've got some reservations about partnering with the man you've only met days ago. No matter how charming the meeting might have been. He's not wrong, but he's making this point in the most annoying way possible. Yes, that's unreasonable. Marvelous. Shouts back over the little wall and dusts himself off with a smile. Let's head down this path here. There's a wonderful view through the trees back this way. One gestures to a small footpath that runs parallel to the forest. Rowan gestures to a small footpath that runs parallel to the forest. The trees are old, perhaps even older than the city itself. Walked on, noticed beams of sunlight filtering through the leaves and dancing like silk on the wind. Still not sure what to make of Rowan, but he was right. It's a lovely view. Wondering, miss. Tell me from Nuremberg originally. No, they're originally from further north, but they came to live here with my older brother as husband 5 years ago. saw his. This. Okay. Oh, you've got an older brother? Yes, not by blood, but Nemo is the only family I really have left now. Okay, so they're not really blood related. Okay. Ah, sounds like you're fond of him. Love to meet him sometime. With any luck, he won't. He laughs again, and I'm not thrilled that I find his amusement so endearing. Got a refreshing wit, does he? Yet you still seem to be running out of steam. So pointed. You might draw blood with words like those. Ah, in a moment, a patch of crimson catches my eye. Through a gap in the forest bush, I see a bed of blue pines growing in a close circle around the stump of a great dead oak. Never seen pine in such a vibrant shade of red. See those flowers there? Flowers? Not sure I do. I'd like to take one if you don't mind. Just be a moment. Oh. Before I can take even a single step off the path, Rowan grabs my arm, pulls me away from the forest's edge. I'd be furious if he didn't look so apologetic. Apologies, that was rash of me, but please take care not to wander into the forest, miss. Ah, starting to sound like no. I assure you, I'm not so delicate as those flowers. Get lost in less than 10 places. Everyone laughs, though he doesn't sound amused. Well, I'm sure you'd be more than alright, Miss Missy. I was only worried because I couldn't tell just how far you were planning to go. Given that there's a sheer cliff not too far in that direction. Here? In that case, thank you for your concern. I was so planning to. That's odd. I can't seem to catch sight of those flowers anymore. Nor the dead tree they surrounded. Oh. Nothing. Shall we head back towards the manor? Of course. I apologize if I startled you. Oh. Not so much as a tumble down the sheer cliff might have. Never realized the forest outside the city held such hazards. In some parts, yes, the well-worn trails are pleasant, and the shade offers some protection from the summer sun. Though it's not without its dangers. Some years ago, a pair of children went missing on such a trek and took days to find them. Ah, wait. See Elmo on his way over the hill. Oh. Following Rowan's gaze, I glance back at the house and see Elm hurrying down the front steps. Oh, okay. Rowan rushes to intercept him, and even at this distance, I can tell that Elm flinches when Rowan throws an arm around his shoulders. Believe you know my brother, Elm. Elm, you know the lovely Miss Lucy, don't you? Elm shrugs off his brother's arm and his eyes start away. Yes, we are acquainted. Wonderful. I do wish she'd told me sooner. Could have invited her over for dinner, and I hope she might still consider an invitation. Elm looks at me with a deep apprehension in his eyes, then he turns toward the manor. See you later in class. You've hardly just arrived home. Stay and chat with us for a bit longer. Don't want to interrupt. You're in the middle of business, aren't you? Oh, yes, but another time. There he goes again. Oh, what happened there? Elm practically ducks away from Rowan and makes manner in a hurry. Rowan brushes along behind him for a moment, but he gives up the chase after a few paces. draw its back toward me, looking for all the world like a sullen horse caught in the storm. And my brother has been a bit distant and out of sorts lately. Yes, I've noticed that as well. I'm sure your father's death has been hard on him these past few days. This isn't recent, unfortunately. Yes, and you haven't spoken much for the past feels like months now that I think about it. Oh, nice. And for the first time, I think I see Rowan truly and utterly at a loss. Sorry, I'm not really sure what's on his mind. Please, if you hear anything from, let me know. Yes, of course. Really register these words. Why has grown so distant from his brother? I thought it was only a result of grief, but the roots of his reticence go back much further than the recent tragedy. Again for having me here today. Naturally, it was a pleasure. And soon, I'm eager to continue our negotiations. Flashes a reckless grin. He's no short of confidence. Please, even if his idea of business negotiations is patently dubious. Oh. Hmm. Hmm. I mean, Lucy wants it to be purely business, so I'll go with that, I guess. Yes, so long as you keep the focus on business. I hold you to that. Rowan's smile remains unshaken, but his eyes seem more distant as he clasps his hand together. You wish. I'll do my level best to oblige you. How soon would you like to resume our conversation? Oh, you could try tomorrow if you'd like. And word along, and I'll be happy to receive you. Billy Ford might try to help again, but heaven knows that man's going to work himself into an early grave dealing with this grief. One funeral is enough for now, I think. Rowan chuckled, though I can tell he's painting that detached air. Seems really anxious about that Williford die. Wonder if he's closer to him than he was Douglas. Please thank him again. He was a gracious host. I enjoyed his folk tale. Yes, I'm glad to. His voice breaks, but he's pampering over it. Laughter. I swear I saw his fist clench for a moment there. Does he have a distaste for that old legend? I'll be happy to hear that. Well, until we meet again. Yes, until we meet again. Here. Oh. Here we go. Huh. Okay, we haven't seen Cecil then. Perhaps he's gone off into town again? Still not sure if he's a suitable business partner. He did keep me from wandering into the forest and down a ravine, but that doesn't excuse his blatant flattery and evasiveness. Okay. Unfamiliar. Nemo and I tend to fight in the open without reservation, whereas Elm is much more reserved and introspective. Perhaps I just don't have a full grasp of Elm's moods. Even so, it doesn't sit well with me. Why is Elm so hesitant to talk brother? Or even about his brother? Must be something between them, but I doubt Rowan knows what it is. Thus, he's hiding it well. Um, Finding a consistent supply of high quality gems is hard enough, but I'll also need a partner with enough skill to cut and prepare the gems for consumption. Douglas was one of my best options given his connections to gem mines and his skill in appraisal and gemsmithing. I could secure a supply of gems on my own that might give me more options. I've heard more and more about synthetic gems lately, so perhaps that might be a viable alternative. If they truly are chemically identical to the real thing, that is. So that reminds me, I should look into jewelry markets as well. In vendor from yesterday was part of some larger scheme. A friend of mine from the university, Ina, is also studying to be a chemist. May know more about the synthetic gems and the process of their creation. I'll ask her about this when I get a chance. Where am I? Oh. The guy playing the violin again? I walked far too much today already. There's a seat open on the fountain's edge just behind a gaggle of children relaxing with their parents after a day's work. Huh. Close my eyes and listen to the melody. Feel the cool breeze waft up from the fountain. I nearly forget the city around me. Huh. Oh. Up ahead of me, I can see a child holding out a small bouquet of clover to the fiddler. Fiddler nods, though it's possible to tell what expression they might be wearing behind that mask. Gently, the fiddler pats the child on the head, accepts the cluster of clover, weed and grass, and presses it delicately into the pocket of their case. Soon, another pair of children join them, and by the time I get close enough to see the fiddler, a whole gaggle of small, clamoring youngsters has fenced them in. Some offer their compliments, others ask about the fiddler's instrument, and one dramatic little wife kneels down and asks to become their apprentice. Oh. Fiddler declines, though now that I think on it, they haven't said a word this whole time. One by one, the children's parents call them back and rush off, some reluctantly, and carry on chittering about music and how much fun it was to dance with all their friends. I have to make a point of asking for their name the next time I see them. At the very least, I can thank them for the respite. Now, though, I'm starving. Tom Ambrose is cooking a rabbit's night. Oh. And whose shadow is that in front of our doorway? Who? I don't believe we met. Oh, my gravest apologies. I've heard so much about you from Cecil that I forget we've not found occasion to acquaint ourselves. Name is Silas, a chemist who prepares formulations for Cecil's parents, their mining operations of course. It's a pleasure to meet you, Mr. Silas. Are you here to visit Cecil then? Something of the sort. A few days ago, I found a letter in the street on one of my evening consultationals. A letter addressed to Dear Cecil, if you can believe it. I happened to be in this part of the city, so I thought I'd take the chance to return it to him. Letter for Cecil. Mentioned losing a letter a few days ago, didn't he? Of course, thank you for making the effort. Think nothing of it, Mrs. Cecil is a bright, brilliant young man. He's kind to humor. I didn't like myself. Oh, I can't see what interest he takes in such drivel as titrations and solvent. Perhaps not quite right. I found it very near the front stoop of my laboratory. Shortly after Cecil left from a visit. Oh, do you have a lab here at the university? No. I don't have the chance to do anything so interesting as to merit a place among these halls. I work with a quite number of volatile substances, so I keep my workplace along the old Popper's Row, near the warehouse quarter of the city. Cecil is one of the kindest people I know, but he's also incredibly earnest. If he's taken an interest in your work, then it must be far more fascinating than trivial. You're too kind, Miss Lucy. Chemistry is grand and magnificent when you consider the breadth of history and the great leaps of science we've made over the centuries. But the day-to-day doldrums of mixing chemicals and boiling solutions is far more familiar territory for most of us. A lot of chemistry stuff that probably my brain is not comprehending. Air hangs still for a moment, and for the first time tonight, Silas does as well. You will, though it's not particularly lucrative at the moment. Oh. Small cylinder as thin as a toothpick. Oh. Not my best work and far from pure, but this is at least in small part a ruby of my own creation. Is this one of those reconstructed rubies I've heard about? Yes, or rather a poor attempt at one. I made several attempts so far, but well, my equipment can't quite keep the temperature steady enough, and my employer has no interest in the endeavor. So it's more than a diversion. Small humors to disrupt the repetition, nothing more. If I may ask, how did you hear about these synthetic gems, Miss? Forgive me. I suppose a little bit of your acumen would naturally keep up with such advancements in your field of business. I didn't expect him to know about my work with the vampirism cure. Or perhaps he gems and jewelry? Cecil must have told him. Otherwise, I'm not sure how he have come across that information. Oh, it's quite alright. I did learn about them first in my research, but most recently I heard a street vendor claiming his wares all featured reconstructed rubies. I had no way to verify his claim, of course, but his prices were significantly lower than that of traditional jewelers. Behavior is beyond my expertise. Chemically, they should be identical, but I've never had a proper sample to test. Someday, perhaps, I won't keep you any longer, though. Dog! Dog, what the dog doing? Can't believe you're so quick to assume it's because of me. You're right, though. I only went into town because I didn't see Cecil after class. Back already? Just a moment ago. Oh, okay, there he is. Oh, I see. Well, I didn't cross my library wing on my way into town, so it's no surprise Cecil would have missed me on his way home. Dinner will be ready in a moment if y'all would set out the table. Timo raises an eyebrow at me. Heard the man. So you did. You. Pulled the evening post from his hands and swiped a stack of papers he's sorting from the table in front of him. Oh, goodness. Or before I get to another choice, I guess. I'm just feeling it. Take it, but I can feel myself hesitating. Is it truly so awful for me to be a vampire? Would it be a terrible thing to live too longer? And later, is that what I really want? I'm just gonna go with take the pill for now. That's done. Now to sleep and hopefully make more progress tomorrow. Oh, flashback. Huh? Like, been keeping late hours. If I could do to help, I'd do it in heartbeat. Well, it's been almost 3 hours. Leave here. Yeah. I am feeling that my throat is dying, so that should be a good place to end it there, though. Yeah. I think that's a good stopping point. That's been 3 hours, and my throat is dying from reading. uh, yeah. So far, story has been pretty interesting. I don't really get to play an Otome game that lets me choose whether I want to be continue like the whole thing with the being a vampire and a human thingy, to have a choice of it. But I think there's something more about the story for this that I'm not understanding yet. So we might play more next week. I might play more next week. Yeah, just to see what it has more in store and probably see if I can get an ending with it. But that should stay for this. And is the moment. Oh, Mika is live. Ending? Yeah, I'm ending, and I'm gonna raid out to someone. Let me set that up for the YouTube side. I know Mika is also up on the YouTube side, so might as well raid out there. This, that. Just got here. Well, sadly, yeah, I have to end because my throat cannot handle more reading. I would like to rest from reading a lot more. I do have stream tomorrow as well, and I have to save my voice for tomorrow. Let me- Yep. Thank you, God. Yes, I have to self care, even though it's been a pretty short stream. So I think 3 hours is more than enough. Yeah, if you're interested to check the game yourself, the link to the game for Steam is in the description, and it's also pinned on the chat. The devs has been pretty nice to send me about the game. So, if you're interested in the game, it's on Steam there. And it's been an interesting game, and I'm actually confused about it, but also intrigued. So I'll probably try to get an ending and see what else there is for the game. Yeah, let me pick up the raid message. We're going to be raiding out to Mika Akatsuka. He's doing Arcadian raids on FF14 right now, so I might actually drop by there and help him out. Might as well drop by and just help him out there. Yeah. Go say hi to Mika. And I'll see you guys tomorrow for Genshin. As soon as the game updates on my end, I should be able to prepare for stream. See you guys tomorrow. Bye bye.